Welcome to Crossyoga. My name is Ria. I'm the host of this channel and the founder of Crossyoga. And today I'll invite you into a yin practice. This means a very slow and very calm practice where we only stretch, we're only laying down or sitting here on our mats. Now some of you might wonder, so yin, that's something with yang, what is that? Is that some Chinese philosophy or something like that? Well, yeah, a little bit in the sense that the words arrive from there, but as we use it in cross yoga and as most people use it today, it just says that yin yoga is a calm practice as we work with our soft elastic tissue, whereas the yang is the more active and dynamic. But in yin, it's only stretching. And you don't need to warm up to do this practice. You might choose to, but it's very slow. So we'll stay in each stretch for 3 or 4 minutes, and this will probably challenge your patience. You'll probably notice things coming up, but just be with what is. Of course, if it feels like you're hurting yourself in different stretches, you are most welcome to come out of it. Now, you would need a blanket at least. I have a lot of stuff here, but I know at home you might not have a lot of things. Blankets, maybe 2, and maybe a block or 2 blocks. Now, if you have a bolster and all that, bring that along. You might as well use it right now. So as we come onto our mats, I will read from Psalm 31, first the NIV version and then the Message version. You stay with the verse or just let your soul, body, and mind open up to what God might remind you about. Maybe it's healing, maybe it's comfort, maybe it's something else. You don't need to feel anything specifically. All right, breathe in and exhale. Let's get started. You come onto your mat, and we're going to start with a wide-legged forward fold. So you put your legs out to the side, toes pointing up. Now you can even start using your blocks or your blankets right now. So you have really stiff hamstrings. Maybe you rolled your blanket here and put it underneath your knees, maybe both sides. If not, find a place with your sitting bones directly on the mat. Scooch a little bit around. Maybe you've been using a block. You can make like kind of a hinge stone here so you can relax with your forehead. So that's it. And I'll start my timer and you just be with what is right now. During this stretch, I'll invite you to pray to God. If there is anything that's on your mind right now, maybe stress or worries, mention it to God. Exhale and let it go. Gently move up from the stretch. Notice where you feel tension. Maybe it's your leg, maybe it's your back. Now take your blanket and roll it into a kind of a snake. Not too thick of a snake, I would say. So depending on what kind of blanket you have. Like this. Put it on the mat. We're going to lay down on it with our lower back. So come down on our backs here. Put this blanket underneath your lower back and lean up and back, having this nice back bend. Hands out to the side, feet move a little bit out to the side, shoulders relax. Huge inhale and exhale, and be aware of your lower back. If it doesn't feel good, you're welcome to move or shorten the thickness of your blanket. Breathe in and breathe out, calm and slow. And I'll begin reading from Psalm 31. You stay down on your mat even though I'm sitting up. In you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Deliver me in your righteousness. Turn your ear towards me. Come quickly to my rescue. Be my rock of refuge, a strong fortress to save me. And the Message version. I run to you, God. I run for dear life. Don't let me down. Take me seriously this time. Get down on my level and listen. And please, no procrastinations. Your granite cave is a hiding place. Your high cliff nest, a place of safety. Roll out to the side. Come onto one hand and get rid of your blanket, move it out to the side. Maybe you come back seated on the mat. If you feel like reaching or stretching forward and swaying a little bit, do that to release. Next is our pigeon pose. If you have any knee injuries, you might want to choose the reversed pigeon, I call it, or reclined pigeon like this. But if you don't have any specific knee injuries, take your front shin somewhat aligned with the short end of your mat. If not, bend your knees further, but try to point your toe, okay, so you don't flex your foot if you have your knee more bended. This will give you more space for the knee to move and you won't put as much strain on the knee. So right leg in front, left leg moves back, and remember your bolster or blanket or blocks. I'll explain later on. So sitting like this, I'm not specifically open in my hip, so I'll use my block, put it under my glute there. Lean a little bit forward as I feel some stretching here in my groins. Use my blanket or the block here and lean forward. Ease into the pose. If you like being seated, you're welcome to do that as well. Since you are my rock and my fortress, for the sake of your name, lead and guide me. Keep me free from the trap that is set for me. For you are my refuge. Into your hands I commit my spirit. Deliver me, Lord, my faithful God. You are my cave to hide in, my cliff to climb. Be my safe leader. Be my true mountain guide. Free me from the hidden traps. I want to hide in you. I have put my life in your hands. You won't drop me. You will never let me down. Gently start to lift up your torso, hands on the ground. Remove blocks or whatever you have and come down on your sitting bones, not putting any strain on your bended knees. Moving your feet forward. Maybe you do a down dog just to stretch any tension out. You're going to move directly into the opposite side. And remember, there might be differences in life, left and right side. As you find your pigeon pose here, make sure you don't lean into your bended knee here, because this is the most vulnerable place right now, and our hips are much stronger. So if anything gonna give, it will be the menisc or the knee joint, and that's not advisable. Make sure the kneecap of the straighten out leg right now is directly on the mat. If that's not nice, fold your mat or make sure you have a blanket underneath that kneecap. And again, if possible, lean forward or stay seated. And I continue, always starting with the NIV version. I hate those who cling to worthless idols. As for me, I trust in the Lord. I'll be glad and rejoice in your love, for you saw my afflictions and knew the anguish of my soul. You have not given me into the hands of the enemy, but have set my feet in a spacious place. I hate all these silly religions, but you, God, I trust. I'm leaping and singing in the circle of your love. You saw my pain. You disarmed my tormentors. You didn't leave me in their clutches, but you gave me room to breathe. Take a deep inhale and an exhale. Slowly lift up on your hands. Come down on your buttocks and remove blocks. Again, welcome to use down dog as a way of getting any soreness out of your stretching poses. Before we enter into the next one, I just want to say just a brief things. Now, David is talking a lot about enemies. And of course, back then, he had a lot of enemies of the people around Israel that wanted to get the land or wanted to have power. So his enemies first were physical. But I think maybe some of our enemies today are more spiritual or more psychological. So when you read about the enemies, maybe it's your inner enemies or the thought patterns that you have created that you need to let go of. That's hindering you in you living the life that God has given you. The next pose is kind of hard. It's a frog pose, and I would really suggest that you take your blanket because you can get sore on your knees. So fold it out, or even if you don't have a blanket right here, just double your mat like that to make sure that your knees have a little extra cushion. Now we're going to move into our deep hips, widening our hips here. Now maybe you'll feel discomfort as we'll stay here for 3 minutes, so of course get out of it if you want to. All right, take your knees out to this each side here. Behind you, if I'm gonna move around, behind us we want our feet to be flexed, so it will be like a frog, like that. Knees and hips are aligned, so you don't lean further forward. Almost 90-degree angles in those, or in the knee joint. And then lean forward using your blocks or whatever works, stacking your hands. And find some kind of a rest here. You'll probably feel this in your inner thighs. Breathe deeply. Relax body, soul, and mind. Be merciful to me, Lord, for I am in distress. My eyes grow weak with sorrow, my soul and body with grief. My life is consumed with anguish, and my years by groaning. My strength fails because of my afflictions, and my bones grow weak. Because of all my enemies, I am the utter contempt of my neighbors, and an object of dread to my closest friends. Those who see me on the street flees from me. My troubles has worn me out, turned my bones to powder. To my enemies, I'm a monster. I'm ridiculed by the neighbors. My friends are horrified. They cross the street to avoid me. They want to blot me from memory, forget me like a corpse in the grave, discard me like a broken dish in the trash. The street talk gossip has me criminally insane. Behind locked doors, they plot how to ruin me for good. Get ready to make your way out of your frog pose. Come into your hands. Tuck your knees together. And maybe on all fours, doing some movement here that feels good. Gonna move again into a forward fold. So fold your blanket. Maybe you want to sit on it. I'm gonna do that this time. And this will also make it more accessible for your body to get into those hamstrings and even into your lower back. Now take your right leg out to the side. Go a little bit wide, if you like. Bend your left knee and let the sole of the foot reach the inner thigh. And then move your torso toward that straighten out leg. Now I'm saying straight leg, maybe you want to bend that knee a little bit. Take a block or whatever is in your position. Take an inhale and take your arms above your head and then lean forward, reaching for that foot. Now if you can just reach for your ankle, do that. If you can reach for your foot, reach there, making sure shoulders are evened out so you don't have that left shoulder higher than the right. Lean forward. And you can choose to focus on your lower back. If you bend a little bit in your knee maybe, or you can choose to get into your hamstring and really stretch that leg. I'm forgotten and as though I was dead. I have become broken pottery. For I fear many whispering terror on my side. They conspire against me and plot to take my life. But I trust in you, Lord. I say, you are my God. Many times are in your hands. Deliver me from the hands of my enemies, for those who pursue me. Let your face shine on your servant. Save me in your unfailing love. Desperate, I throw myself on you. You are my God. Hour by hour, I placed my days in your hands. Save me from the hands out to get me. Warm me, your servant, with a smile. Save me because you love me. Move yourself up to seated position. Move or stretch or do things that you feel comfortable before we move to the other direction or the other side. Left leg out to the side. Again, use your equipment as you see fit. Move your torso directly toward that straighten out leg. If you want to feel if your legs is tightened or relaxed, you can always just feel your own body just to make sure what's going on there. Take an huge inhale and lean forward. Of course, this time to our left leg. Noticing that our shoulders are evened out. Let your forehead reach the shin. Or if you're super flexible, your chin towards your kneecap. Relax and breathe. Don't let me be put to shame, Lord, for I have cried out to you. But let the wicked be put to shame and be silenced in the realm of the dead. Let their lying lips be silenced, for with pride and contempt they speak arrogantly against the righteous. Don't embarrass me by not showing up. I've given you plenty of notice. Embarrass the wicked, stand them up, leave them stupidly shaking their heads as they drift down to hell. Gag those loud-mouthed liars who heckled me, your follower, with jars and catcalls. Inhale and sigh it out when ready. And move up to a seated pose once again. 2 poses left, legs up against the wall. Now you might not have a wall just nearby you. If you don't want to move away from where you are right now, you can just hug your knees and stay in that hug. But if you have a wall like I happen to have here, move yourself pretty close to the wall. So you start by being down here seated, so you're pretty close to the wall. Then lean back and then move your legs up against the wall. Now that's it. You want your hips to go as close to the wall as possible and just your legs to move up there. Arms can come out to the side and maybe you do your cactus hands, so you'll bend your elbows 90 degrees. Elbows aligned with shoulders. If you're pregnant, you might be extra aware of how it feels with your legs up against the wall, so you don't do anything too much. Close your eyes. How abundant are the good things that you have stored up for those who fear you, that you bestow in the sight of all on those who take refuge in you. In the shelter of your presence, you hide them from all human integrities. You keep them safe in your dwelling from accusing tongues. Praise be to the Lord, for he showed me the wonders of his love when I was in a city under Zion. What a stack of blessings you have piled up for those who worship you, ready and waiting for all who run to you to escape an unkind world. You hide them safely away from the opposition. as you slam the door on those oily, mocking faces, you silence the poisonous gossip. Bless the Lord. His love is the wonder of the world. Now you feel like your feet are almost sore from being up there. Maybe you take your legs down and get a little bit of movement into them. Now you can either do the next pose like this, like a butterfly on the wall, or the one that I prefer, wide-legged up against the wall. So take your legs out as wide as they can go. Relax, and maybe your feet gently fall further out to the side. Let that just be. Again, don't go into the deepest, most intensive stretch. Just let gravity do its work here. In my alarm, I said, I'm cut off from your sight. Yet you heard my cry for mercy when I called to you for help. Love the Lord, all his faithful people. The Lord preserves those who are true to him, but the proud he pays back in full. Trapped, I panicked, out of my sight, out of my mind, I said. But you heard me say it. You heard and listened. Love God, all you saints. God takes care of all who stays close to him. But he pays back in full those arrogant enough to go it alone. Bend your knees and try to see if you very slowly can gather knees, maybe helping with the hands. Come out on one side. No rush. And finish up resting on our mats. Now again, you can use your blanket. Fold it however high you feel like is comfortable. We're going to use it under our spine and under our shoulders to open up our hearts as we listen to the last passage of Psalm 31. If you don't have a blanket or you have a block that's soft, you can use that as well. You can also use blocks underneath your legs or even your second blanket underneath your kneecaps or knee joints, rather. So lean back and take time to adjust your pillow. Now maybe your neck really enjoys hanging back like mine is right now, and maybe not. So if you're not comfortable with your head hanging there, you might want to scooch yourself a little bit further back here and rest. Throw your arms out to the side, palms facing up, tucking your shoulders away from the ears. A little bit distance in between your feet, and let those feet reach out to each side. Close your eyes and relax your whole body. Soft and calm. And listen with your heart to just one last verse. Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. And I'll read this passage from NIV version again. And maybe in your heart just say, yes, Lord, this is my prayer. Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. The Message version. Be brave. Be strong. Don't give up. Expect God to get here soon. Be brave. Be strong. Don't give up. Expect God to get here soon. Or if I rephrase the last sentence, expect God to be here right now. you are more than welcome to stay down your mats longer. When you're done, begin slowly to move your feet and fingers. Roll out to one side, moving your blanket or block or whatever. Come back on your spine and hug your knees. And take your time with all that. I'm wrapping up here, and thank you so much for joining me today. God's blessings on your path, from my heart to yours. Thank you.